I was told that this meeting, my session is meant to last for 30 minutes, but I would like to crave your indulgence to slightly exceed 30 minutes, but I'll try as much as I can to stay within the time frame. But just a heads up that this slide may exceed just a little bit above 30 minutes. So today I'll be talking about emerging technologies and innovation in petroleum engineering. I want my session to be very interactive. So I am kind of setting out some rules so that we can engage effectively here today. So this is not just going to be like a conventional presentation. It's going to be very much interactive. Interaction would be in the sense that I would, within the course of the presentation, ask questions, and I'll be looking forward towards your answers. You can, of course, answer the questions, make your suggestions on the comment section. And there is an incentive attached to this interaction. So I'll be giving out some little bit gift prizes to people that can answer those questions correctly, and students that are very much interactive here. So just make sure you are very prepared you may be the lucky person to go home with the prize or the gift prize. So yeah, that is just my little rule as I proceed. So just make sure you're paying some attentive to what I'm going to say, and then whenever I ask the question, just make sure you are very much fast to answer them on the comment section. So for the course of my presentation, my work here today is I have just one specific duty here, and my specific duty here is to enlighten you all about emerging technologies, current technologies in the oil and gas industry, and I am here to give you an understanding and to prompt you towards having this passion in the industry, right? So I am not here to in-depthly speak about these technologies, but I am here to enlighten your understanding about what is happening. And so it's left for you to dig up from today after this session on what would be beneficial to you per se. So during the course of my presentation, I would be, of course, introducing what we all know as technology and innovations in the industry. I would like to also, I'm someone that is very inclined towards statistics, so I will do some statistical analysis with you guys and also tell you the game-changing technologies in the industry. Of course, during my presentation, you'll see different case studies in the industry that have been used. And lastly, we'll conclude and I'll take questions and answers from anyone that will have questions and answers. Like I said, I would like to repeat myself. It's going to be interactive. When I ask questions, I would always want you to respond in the comment section. So, as a way of introduction, this is my first question. What drives every industry? So if you know what drives every industry, you can put it in the comment section. What do you feel that drives every industry? It may not be the oil and gas industry, it may be other industries in the world, in Nigeria. So what do you think is the major driving force for this industry? I am going to be expecting some comments, and yeah, you can put your comment you can put it on the comment section, on the chat section, so that I see and know who or those that have answered. So I'm just going to take this for like 10 seconds and then I proceed. So yeah, what do you think drives every industry? I mean, this is not a very big question, but of course, it doesn't have one answer. So I just want to know the line of thoughts. So Divine Oniribu said, ability to solve problems and critical thinking. Nice. Ability to solve problems and critical thinking drives every industry. That's good. Any other answer? Ability to solve problems, critical thinking drives every industry. Profit making profit making, profit making. Simon Jude Nwachukwu said profit making. Okay, okay. So I will take one last answer and then continue. The desire to make a mark, desire to make a mark. Chibuike Nwachukwu said desire to make a mark. Fantastic answers from everyone. Ability to solve problems, critical thinking, the profit making, desire to make a mark. These are very brilliant answers. I mean, you guys are not far from the truth. Energy demand and supply, innovation, research and development. Beautiful answers. You guys are not far from the truth. And like I said, these answers are set between boundaries. And for me, after thinking and after studying and studying the industry, especially the oil and gas industry, as a case study, I see that there are three critical things that drives an industry: people, profit, and performance, which is not far from what every one of you have said. One said profit making, very brilliant, very, very good. People say one says desire to make a mark, solving problem and critical thinking. These are making a mark, engineering change, they are all performance. And these things will not be possible when you don't have people, right? So I call them the 3 Ps: the people, the profits, and then the performance. And so where emerging technology comes into play is in performance, right? And that is why you can see that performance here is something that is very critical. Performance, it's the pillar post that drives an industry. When you have something that is performing very well, and what is performance? I'm going to talk about it in my next slide. It drives profit, it drives people as well. So what performance drives changes, right? We've looked into performance, and we've seen that performance is very critical in driving an industry. So what's performance actually drives change? And the first performance that drives change is what we're going to be looking at today, which is the main thesis of our conversation, is technology. So I want to ask again, what do you think is technology? Because there are so many misconstrued definitions of technology. And when I hear people talk about technology, and I usually ask myself, I mean, is it that we are moving away from what we conventionally know as technology, or people have a very different definition of technology? So what do you think is technology? Just very fast, in 5-10 seconds, I just want to get your opinion on what is technology. So what it is, why do you think technology matters? What it is, I mean, you can, like I said, there is no hard or fast rule here. Just make sure that you're commenting, and I'm seeing those that are commenting. Please, I would also like to crave the indulgence of the executives to take note of everyone that has been making contributions. I may not really track everyone that is making contribution, but I just want the executives to just track everyone making contribution. So what do you think is technology? So I'm going to count. If I don't see anybody saying anything, I'll just move on. So very fast. What do you feel is technology? I mean, there's no right or wrong answer. I'm not looking for right or wrong answer. I just want to get an idea of what you're thinking. So what do you think is technology? I mean, if no one is saying, I would proceed with the application of scientific tools to solve problems. I mean, it brings imagination to reality. Good. Technology is the application of science and principles to solve real world problems. You guys are not far from the truth. You guys are absolutely correct. But I mean, when you see people talk about tech today, they have constrained technology towards computational technology. People have this idea, oh, they're going to tech. When you ask when you ask someone, a temporary a youth, someone that's in the university, someone that has graduated, which career path he wants to take. Some may tell you that they're going into tech. When you go on to ask them what exactly are they going to do, they are going into technological, computational technology, like cybersecurity, software engineering, computational stuff. Computational technology is a part of technology, but that does not define what technology is, right? So technology is a practical application of scientific knowledge, right? When you apply scientific knowledge in the design of a process, in the birth of any process whatsoever, it's technology. And technology has been in existence since the 19th century, right? Because you are applying the scientific knowledge, the fundamental governing principle and the physics on what you are studying. And when you're able to apply those fundamental governing physics, which is part of science, towards anything, towards bringing out something out of anything, is technology. And what has happened over the past few years and over the past few decades is that we've seen that technology has grown. It has evolved towards different aspects, right? In the 21st century, and of course, pretty much in the last 20 years, we've seen more of computational driven technology taking in different industries. And this is what I would just want you to understand. Do not streamline your understanding of technology just based on computational stuff. There's technology in every area. People that build houses, that build skyscrapers, that build duplexes, they built these houses on prevalence technology in their time. And so technology is not just streamlined to computational stuff, right? But it's the application of scientific knowledge processes towards bringing out towards bringing out something out of nothing, right? And that is what technology is. And so beyond technology is what we call innovation. You are making changes from within and outside the scope of studies, right? Technology would not have gained this dominance in the last decades if it is not innovation oriented. Innovation means that you are bringing changes within and outside. Right? You are going beyond studying the scientific principle that governs how things work. You are bringing in what we call changes within. It can be changes within the system. It can be changes outside the scope of the system. But if changes is being implemented in any technology, it's called innovation, right? Innovation may not be something very new. It may not be something it may not be something new, but it has to be always unique. So then in the context of the oil and gas industry, you've seen that technology and innovation has really been a very big force in the last decades, and even in this coming this coming era that we are currently. And we've seen what technology and innovation would do, right? For, like, in our previous slides, I told you guys about what drives an industry: people, profit, and performance. And in the energy industry, or in the oil and gas industry, there are cadres of people. They have the executives and managerial boards, the people who own this company, people who drive the industry, people who sit in decision-making platforms in the industry, right? They use technology and innovation to get returns on capital, right? I'm trying to get my pointer to just, yeah. So if you can see my pointers, you can see for competition edge for executive, what they're looking for from technology and innovation is a huge return on capital to make profits. And remember, like I told you guys, performance drives profit and drives people. So not just to a huge return of capital, but in the same way, there's a reduction in the barrel of oil equivalents or the cost of production. It is very, very much important for us to drive capital, but I mean, driving capital will be nothing if we don't reduce the cost of production. And in this case, we're looking at the cost of producing a barrel of oil in the energy industry. And also, we're not just looking at that, we're also trying to look at how we can improve reserve replacements and also improve the health, safety, and environment of people, right? And of course, technology has gone through different parts of the oil and gas industry, right from the exploratory stage to when you discover the reservoir, when you try to do optimization, when you construct the wells, and when you produce, and when you try to manage the assets. And also, when you look at how you manage these assets, you're looking at how to reduce risk in managing assets. So you can see an interplay of technology happening throughout the life cycle of field development, throughout the life cycle of every petroleum engineering project. right? And this is very much important. It gives us an idea that holistically, we can look at technology as affecting every areas of the oil and gas industry. Are we together? So now, having spoken about how this technology innovation is important, I would want to play with statistics. I would want us to look at some crunching numbers. I like statistics, and it gives me a pictorial view of what we are talking about. It makes it very real. It makes it looks. I mean, when we talk about statistics, we are dealing in the real life situations. We look at numbers and we see how these numbers affect the industry. So, but based on our level of conversation today, I can't go deep into statistics. I'll just give you a very high level overview of what I've been talking about. So let's use it in the context of US shale, right? In the US here, shale has been something that it's a very big, huge assets in the US here. And not just in the US, but also in the world. I'm using the US in the context because US is like a central point for global economy. So if you look at the trending picture, you can see something, right? You can see a linear or an upward trend in the production of US shale. The US oil production, especially in shale, has risen from 2017 or from 2009, when of course it was founded here, to 2024, and then there's a projection that's going to keep on increasing in 2026. So what has made production from shale possible in the US is because of the emerging technologies, right? The country's oil production grew approximately 800,000 barrels per day from January to December of 2023, that was last year, the fastest expansion since the pandemic. So with Canadian liquids expanding by nearly 0.4 million barrels per day in North America, liquid supply growth is expected, and this would meet 85% of the global energy demand in 2024. And so if anyone is telling you that the industry is fading away, statistics don't lie. So why people are being carried away by the current news, current propaganda in terms of the industry drying up is the fact that they don't do research and they don't have statistical numbers to back them up. So 85% of global energy demand would grow in 2024, and this is tied towards the emerging technology and innovation that is happening in the oil and gas industry. So another quick statistic, when you look at there's a very huge lucrative market cap in the oil and gas industry. And you can see this from this very quick high-level statistic. In terms of the emerging technology, I can tell you the Industrial Internet of Things, which we call IoT, is a broader aspect of digital technology, which I'm going to be, of course, talking in a few slides. It's going to have a huge market cap, close to $15 trillion. And this would, of course, this is something that has never happened. This is unprecedented in the past. The oil and gas artificial intelligence markets will more than double in size in 2020. This statistic was from 2018, 2019. Actually, you can see it. I mean, of course, there's a reference. This thing is something that is available to the public. You can go to this particular website and you can see this particular statistic I'm telling you about. So digital technology has the potential to decrease capital expenditures up to 20% in the future. So we can see that not just talking, but we have numbers to back what we are saying. That in the future, and currently, what is currently happening is the fact that technology, especially computational technology now, is growing and it is playing a very huge role in the economy of the world. And which means that this particular topic is something that the industry needs to imbibe continuously and going forward. So now, what is digital technology trying to do as pertaining oil and gas industry? What do you think that digital technology is trying to do? You guys have you guys have been attending conferences, you've done some petroleum engineering courses, you have done oil and gas related courses, and I've asked you some previous questions. Now I'm also asking you again here, what do you think that digital technology is trying to achieve? what do you feel like digital technology is trying to achieve in the oil and gas industry? What is that main thing? You guys have said before, you have an idea, but I also want to ask you now, from our conversation and what I've said, what do you feel that digital technology is trying to do? Very quick responses. Like I said, the executives of these both chapters, please take note of everyone that is answering questions. I am going to, of course, speak, select, and give out gifts, incentives after the course of our presentation today. So very fast, I mean, I don't have time to waste because of, I'm restricted to some amount of time to spend here today. So very fast, I'm just going to wait for 10 seconds extra, and then I would continue. Improve performance, brilliant. Improve performance, someone has said improve performance, but what exactly is the performance we've talked about? What exactly is the performance we've talked about? Improving performance is the general scope. What exactly are the things? Optimize innovation, optimizing operations and energy efficiency, optimizing operations and energy efficiency. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. When you optimize operations and energy efficiency, it's to what goal? To what goal? What are we trying to achieve when we improve performance? What are we trying to achieve when we optimize operations and energy efficiency? Someone said enhancing economic growth and efficiency, reducing OPEX and increasing safety. Brilliant ideas. You guys are very much in line with our conversation. I like the fact that we are flowing together. Yes, in line with everything we've talked about, right? Enhancing economic growth and efficiency, reducing OPEX with increased safety, optimizing operations and energy efficiency, improving performance. The objective function is hydrocarbon recovery. Our objective function is to produce hydrocarbon. But producing hydrocarbon is not just what we want to do. We want to improve in recovering hydrocarbon, because in our market today, what brings money, what improves the economy situation of every company in this market is the fact that they can produce hydrocarbon, right? And so when we produce hydrocarbon more efficiently and effectively, as you've talked about, it does what? It's, of course, optimizes operations, it improves performance in general, and it drives the economy. And so we have what we call the constraints, right? The cash flows, like we talked about, in improving hydrocarbon recovery, the constraints are cash flows, the money that is coming in and the money that is going out. How can we optimize it in such a way that optimizing these constraints, we can produce hydrocarbon more effectively? So we are looking at cash flows, we're looking at rate of returns, we're looking at safety. Someone made mention of reducing OPEX and increasing safety, which is in line with what we've talked about. And then we have a ground reality, and the ground reality is that the industry, especially when you study reservoir engineering, the geology and every other thing, it's a very complex industry, right? There's a very much interplay between different fields, right? There's a huge interdependency between different areas in the industry. And of course, there's a simultaneous optimization that should be going on, right? And this is the ground reality. The ground reality is the ground truth of what we know. We have our constraint and we have our objective function. Now, why am I using objective function, constraints, and ground reality? When you're trying to optimize any process, when you're trying to look at how digital technology works, of course, you're going to look into these three areas. What is the overall thing, overall goal of digital technology? Like you said, improve hydrocarbon recovery, which in turn would improve the economic growth. But then we have some constraints, because these constraints are something that are constant, right? The money that is flowing in and out, the safety of the personnel that are working in the field, in the office, and everywhere. And then we have a ground reality that we know that the industry is very complex. There's a huge interdependency and simultaneous operations going on and working on at the same time, right? And so looking at these three pictures, looking at these 3 points, we want to make sure that digital technology is aware of the constraints, is aware of the ground reality, and is aware of our objective function and what we're trying to do. And this brings us to what digital technology is trying to achieve in essence: efficiency and effectiveness. Efficiency to do more with less, to produce more hydrocarbon. You're not producing just fuel, you're producing more hydrocarbon, but with less cost, right? And then effectiveness is that it's becoming better and better. We're not producing more hydrocarbon, we're not making economic profits at the detriment of people, at the detriment of people losing their lives, at the detriment of people losing their jobs, at the detriment of people losing their values and ethics and everything in between, right? So when we have this process continuously being repeated over time and over the years with digital technology, we meet our goal, right? We meet our goal in the sense that we achieve whatever goals we've set for ourselves. And in the case of the industry, like I said, is improving hydrocarbon recovery. So that brings me to, I've spoken a lot about technology and why it's important, and I've given you huge statistics on everything. So what exactly are the game-changing technologies in the oil and gas industry currently? I mean, my presentation is not limited. This just a caveat, and it was, again, as a disclaimer. There are lots and lots of game-changing technology, but I've put out across some very specific game-changing technologies in the oil and gas industry. Why? Because I felt I'm speaking based on my own experience, right? But there are lots and lots of technology that in the oil and gas industry. I mean, speaking of the 1,000 will be over-exaggerating, but there are lots and lots of oil and gas industry technology. I'm going to give you two pictures, right? First is what I put out across here, and second is what statistics is telling us. So we have, I feel the industry has gotten to a place where there are 4 key technologies that are moving the industry. The first is the advanced analytics and generative AI. Second is the digital twins technology for digital oil fields. The third is robotics and automation. And the last is blockchain and the industrial Internet of Things. I've worked in these lines, and I can tell you, and I'll be speaking from my experience on why these technologies are changing the industry in the very few minutes that we have. And just before we go in depth in speaking about these technologies, I would like to give you a picture and paint a picture on what statistics is showing and the different branches, low-level branches of these 4 huge technologies. So the top 10 oil and gas industry trends and innovation in 2024, you can find this in the website called Start US Insights, right? We have Internet of Things, we have AI, big data analytics. AI, big data analytics are all under advanced analytics and generative AI. I'm going to talk about it. You can see statistics is showing that IoT devices are moving the industry at a very fast rate of 22%. AI, artificial intelligence, has 19%. Big data analytics is 13%. Robotics and automation, 12%. 3D modeling and visualization is part of digital tool technologies, 9%. Cloud computing, virtual reality, manufacturing executive systems, and predictive maintenance are all part of also the digital twin technology. And you can see blockchain, which is something that is just new, it's holding 4%. So what is this telling you? That it's growing at a fast pace. And if I were you, I would be asking myself these questions. Which of these technologies am I familiar with? Which of these technologies is something that I've known before? Of course, you probably might have known about the technology before, but again, I'm still asking you the question, which of these technologies do you feel would, in the next 10 years, in the next 15 years from now, will be making waves in the industry? So having said that, I move on to discuss the 4 key technologies. Advanced analytics and generative AI. Like I said from the beginning of my presentation, my job today is not to give you the technical and fundamental principle on how these things work. I'm here today to expand your knowledge on a very high level on what they are. It builds a foundation for you to go back on your own quiet time and make use of this information very well. So advanced analytics and generative AI. So what exactly is advanced analytics. You've talked about advanced analytics. But before we go on to say advanced analytics, it means that there may be a basic analytics, right? So if you're talking about advanced analytics, it means that it is standing on the premise of existing analytics, which is known as the basic analytics or the traditional analytics, right? Statistics in itself is a traditional analytics, right? When you play with numbers, when you form empirical correlations, you develop empirical models that can help you solve problems. They are called traditional analytics, right? When you work with past data, so you get insights from past data. These are called traditional analytics. When we talk about advanced analytics is telling us, giving us an in-depth data analysis and predicting what the future will look like, predicting future trends, and doing what that can guide strategic decisions. Knowing, if you can know the future from the present, you have an edge over any other strategies. A strategy that can tell you what the future holds from the present is a very big strategy, and that is why the advanced analytics concept is making wave in the industry. Are we together? So it utilizes predictive modeling, of course, machine learning and statistical analysis to predict the future trends in the oil and gas industry. I'm going to show you examples in my next slide, but this is what it is, right? Some of you have heard about machine learning. This is not the first time. I'm not here to talk to you about machine learning. I'm not here to talk to you about deep learning. This is not the first time you're hearing about it, but of course, this is what advanced analytics is. But then, beyond advanced analytics is what we call generative AI. Generative AI today is making waves in the industry. Why? Because there is a very huge constraint about advanced analytics. Advanced analytics is usually dependent on data. It's usually dependent on data sets generated from historical time, right? If you are trying to look at advanced analytics, let's say you're trying to predict or forecast the production of oil and gas from an underperforming well in, let's say, in 10 years, right? Traditional statistics will go through what we call the decline curve analysis. If you don't know the decline curve analysis, you should look into it. Advanced analytics will try to forecast what the future production of oil and gas from a particular well will look like using machine learning techniques. But machine learning techniques are usually dependent on past data. So, and the problem now is the fact that we don't have past data. Some concept in petroleum engineering, some areas in petroleum engineering require so much money to produce data. If I'm trying to do an experiment like pyrolysis experiment, I should be spending lots and lots of thousands of dollars to gain just 5 data sets points. So it means that relying on the concepts of data is usually limiting, and that is where generative AI comes. Generative AI it's a much more technology that generates data by itself. It's a self-generating algorithm that generates text, images, music data, and they employ what we call the generative adversarial networks to generate data sets that can help make informed decisions. This is very important, and this is what the industry is using today to generate synthetic data, to generate large language models that can help drive predictive maintenance of pipes, that can help drive to detect where pipelines are having faults based on the little data set they have, right? So this is what we call generative AI advanced analytics. So where have these been used in the industry? I'm going to share from my own experience, and this is not just limiting to my experience. A lot of people might have used this before. So case study and real life scenario, very fast. Equinor, as you know, I don't know probably if you know Equinor. Equinor has used a real-time reservoir fluid identification system based on advanced analytics and generative AI. So they utilize a machine learning model that can help predict gas-oil ratio during drilling operation. Probably you guys don't know what gas, I don't know if you're petroleum engineering students and you should know what gas-oil ratio is. And so this technology has been used by Equinor, right? And this is, they developed a 3D model based on advanced analytics and machine learning techniques that can take well-logged data sets, and then they use well-logged data sets to predict gas-oil ratio in real time. So they are producing, as of course, gas-oil ratio has a very good correlation with the fluid, the reservoir fluid type in any reservoir. So as a gas-oil ratio is coming up and it's characterizing the reservoir is telling you what fluid type is coming out from that reservoir in real time. So this is a game changer because it's saving a lot of time, saving a lot of money to go back to the lab to do reservoir characterization. And then there is a huge gap between time of decision and time of data acquisition. So what Equinor has done is to reduce this time, and like I said, time is money in the industry. So they are producing data sets in real time and characterizing reservoir fluids in real time. So the other technology, of course, other case technology that I'm applying here is when I worked in Laramie Energy, I utilized machine learning to do what? To predict reservoir, to characterize sweet spots, right? I mean, I use machine learning to characterize sweet spot. What is sweet spot? Oil and gas sweet spots are places in the oil and gas reservoir where you can commercially produce hydrocarbon, especially for unconventional shales. So what I did was I developed a model based on data sets that I had to do what? To predict the Brittleness index of a particular reservoir. And the Brittleness index is an indicator of the mechanical factorability of that real reservoir, and which of course tells us if you can actually produce from that reservoir. I don't want to go in depth, but this is what I used it to do. And then at the end of the day, with different analysis, I was able to map a 2D map of the formation that I was trying to predict. And then you can see different color layouts of the different predicted sweet spots. Now, not just that, I've used generative AI to develop synthetic data. Now, what is synthetic data? Synthetic data is when you generate data from the original data. When you have limited data, you use synthetic data to generate huge data that have the same statistical representation of the original data sets. And this is where generative AI comes into play. This is where using GANs come into play. Some of you are working on projects, you don't have a lot of data. You know that you can generate synthetic data from original data set that can give you the same representation as the original data sets. You probably may not know that, but this is something that I used a lot in generating synthetic data for my projects. So now going into the next technology, which is called the digital twin technology, right? And the digital twin technology in itself is, as the name implies, a twin. What is a twin? A twin has the same representation of something. I mean, some of you guys may know twins, right? Someone is a twin. It means that he resembles, they were better at the same time, and they look alike. So what is digital twin doing here? Digital twin is getting a 3D representation of our physical assets. And why is having a 3D known representation of our physical assets? Why is it very much important, right? One, like I said, every activity in the oil and gas industry is time dependent. It is money oriented. It is very costly to build an oil and gas project. You can be looking at billions of dollars, right? And of course, like we said, we want to make profits, right? We want to improve performance. And it will be unwise trying to make mistakes. It will be unwise when you do not make informed decisions, and then you spend lots of money investing in a project, and that project becomes catastrophic. That project is not making any yield. That project failed in production, right? So it means that you might have wasted a lot of money, risked the life of people, and you may even go bankruptcy, right? And people lose their jobs, and then there's a problem in the industry. So what the digital twin technology is trying to do is to create a digital representation of the physical asset that we have without even taking the physical asset itself. So we have a twin representation, a twin simulated representation of our physical asset. And then we do our sensitivity analysis on the digital twin. We try and make tweak decisions. Okay, what if we design this well in this way? What if we design the production platform in this way? What if we design the shipping platform in this way? What if we design the trajectory of wells in this particular way? And you see the results simultaneously, and you see the simulated result, the virtual simulated result. And then when you are confident enough that your simulated result is going as planned, then you can now implement whatever has happened in the digital world in your real physical assets. This is a game changer because it will save you lots and lots of time, it will save you lots and lots of money, and it will improve production, improve efficiency, and reduce safety concerns. Now, the last part of what I will be talking about is the autonomous robotics, right? And what every of you have known about autonomous robotics, right? I just want to give you another opportunity in just 10 seconds to, what do you know about autonomous robotics? We are almost coming to an end of our session. What do you know about autonomous robotics? Put it in the comment section. Just 5 seconds, and then we'll continue. So what do you know about autonomous robotics? This is a very huge part of what I'll be talking about today. And of course, after this, and one other thing, and then we'll end. So autonomous robotics, what do you feel is autonomous? So some of you have worked on robots before, right? It's an independent robot that has the ability to make informed decisions. Brilliant, brilliant. And why I'm going to be talking about this is because I work with SLB, and this is our platform. I've seen these robots, I work in these platforms. And so it's a game changer in the industry for us and for SLB because of what robots are bringing for us today. In 2016, I had an opportunity to work I worked in NGC, Nigerian Gas Company in Obajana. Precisely, Obajana is in Lokoja, Kogi State. I was in 200 level in 2016, and then I did my internship with Natural Gas Company. And so I worked in a production plant like this, production plant where we meter gas, right? We meter gas, and then we take constant reading of temperature, pressure, gas orifice meters, gas volumetric production, and then so what we do, we manually take those readings every 2 hours. So working in that plant facility, I take readings every 2 hours. It means that at night, when people are sleeping, I'm in the plant, I don't sleep from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning. Every 2 hours, I need to be awake to take readings. So I was manually taking temperature readings, thermal readings, pressure readings, volumetric analysis, and then manually doing volumetric calculation. So, of course, then I was looking, it was a burden to me because this thing is a mundane task, right? It's a repetitive task, which becomes boring over time. I can't be waking up 2 a.m. and every 2 hours to take readings, right? I was a little bit frustrated. I wanted to improve the process. And also 6 a.m. I needed to wake up and then do the gas calculation and submit it to my manager. So these things are manually done. From the start of the project to the end of the project was a manual. I was taking manual readings. I was doing manual calculation. And as of 2016, I already had a mind of, I was thinking out of the box. We can innovate and automate a lot of these processes. And then I developed an Excel system that can automatically calculate volumetric gas. And then in the morning, I don't need to wake up every morning. And then in the morning, I just see my calculation that you have been automated for me. And then I submit it to my manager. My manager was so impressed, right? But just beyond that conversation, the fact that I was thinking that lots of manual process can be automated, can help save time, can help save properties, can help even because, like I said, time has a very huge dependency. Time and money is a direct relationship in the industry. Time is directly related to money. And so autonomous robots, it's gaining prevalence in the industry because it's a machine, like you guys have said, designed to execute one or more tasks automatically with speed, and not just speed, but with precision, right? Speed, which is time, precision is accuracy. And so when we look at the robot, I am not here to tell you about robots. I'm not here, like I said, this is a foundation. A robot is made up of essentially 4 parts: the mechanical body system, like you've seen, the actuators, sensors, and the control systems, right? And this is the platform where I work, and we have been using an autonomous robots in doing our activities for a long time. So I'm going to play a short video, a 2-minute short video here for you guys to actually show you how this thing works, and then you can see for yourself.
Safety is always your primary priority. Whether the concern is equipment and processes, data quantification and interpretation, or reducing your carbon footprint, any misstep can adversely impact multiple aspects of your facility's productivity and security. Now there's an autonomous solution for inspection and collection of visual, thermal, and acoustic data, including hazardous atmosphere measurement. Since the middle of last year, we've been running live field trials at one of our process facilities here in the US. One of the cool things about that is that we've been able to run it with multiple different types of robots. We're using different payloads with different sensors and multiple robots from different vendors in the market. So that's allowing us to explore limitations and capabilities of each of the robots.
We need to understand how we can use the robot in the facility without interrupting the operation. That's another challenge.
At this time, the robot is scheduled to walk around the facility twice a day, takes pictures, and gathers a significant amount of data.
There are teams that are working on payload integration. There are teams that are working on analysis of the data that we have collected.
And you can basically have a real-time digital twin of your facility at any time of the day or hour. Simply, if you just reduce the unwanted shutdown by a tiny percentage, that's a huge saving.
Autonomous inspections can help with HSE by removing people from hazardous locations and hazardous situations, and we can send a robot to do some of those tasks instead.
It can also free up time of our personnel to focus on other parts of the facility.
Robotic deployments expand your digital insight while continuously informing your asset performance management system in real time with contextualized, quantified data. And with AI and digital twins integrated within your asset performance management strategy, you'll drive equipment and systems uptime and optimization to achieve higher facility performance sustainably and securely.
So you guys have seen exactly what I have been speaking about, and hopefully you guys were able to pick up some few things from this particular video that I just shared. I work in this facility, and this is exactly what autonomous robotic is doing for us, right? From the video you just watched, in 5 seconds, what can you pick out from the videos you just watched as related to what I have been speaking about? So, I mean, specifically for this question, the people that answer this question would also receive an incentive and a gift from me, right? So just in very fast 10 seconds, type, and of course, I'm giving this to, of course, the fastest person that answered the question. So very fast, and then as we continue speaking about autonomous, of course, autonomous robotics, of course, SLB has partnered with Equinor, and if you are very current with the news, as at 3 days ago, we successfully completed an autonomously drilled well that was self drilled by itself by the use of autonomous robots and platforms like drill pilots and drill optimization, right? This is exactly what autonomous drilling was all about. And so the last discussion is the IoT and blockchain. I am not going to speak more on IoT and blockchain because my time is far spent, but I just want to let you know that blockchain and IoT is something that is changing the industry at a very fast pace. I have a friend, he is doing a PhD on blockchain in petroleum engineering, and blockchain is a game changer because every industry, every company is looking into blockchain. And what is blockchain? Blockchain is not cryptocurrency. A lot of you have a misconception about blockchain. I mean, cryptocurrency is the ledger that uses blockchain technology. But blockchain, it's a secured, safe, secured system where people can meet and make transactions, not just monetary transactions, but other commodity can be transacted on a platform like blockchain because it is transparent, it is very secure, and it's decentralized systems, right? They have been using blockchain technology in ExxonMobil, Chevron, and Shell. These people are using blockchain technology to reduce the security challenges in supplying crude oil production from the producing platform to the place where it is being sold. And every different kinds of processes that involved a supply chain. Supply chain is when you take a goods from one point to another point, right? Blockchain is making sure that every monetary transaction, every commodity are being securely and safely transported and transacted. There's no point looking at discrepancy in theft. There's no point looking at discrepancy in safety. And so this is what blockchain technology is doing. As of today, a friend of mine is using blockchain and IoT devices to study the emission of methane from fields, because methane emissions are financial, they have financial implications in the US here. So you cannot, of course, emit methane carelessly. So we use IoT devices to track, IoT devices that have sensors to track these methane emissions, and then they put the data in a blockchain secured network so that everybody has access to it and nobody's rigging anything, nobody is tampering with these data sets, and the government can really regulate this process. And this is what blockchain technology and IoT devices are doing today in the future. So what is next for you? As you've listened to my presentation slides, you've seen a lot of things we've talked about. So you've been thinking in your mind, what is the next thing to do? What is the next thing for you? I have crafted out the roadmap for every student. What you should always position yourself to do at this point in time is, first and foremost, you need to love research. Research is non-negotiable. For you to move an industry, you need to love research, and research goes beyond your academic final year project. Research is picking up articles to read. Research is knowing what is happening in the industry. Research is having an open mind towards any discussion you're having, and you are feeling that there is a gap here in this technology, and research is going to find what is that research gap. Research is going to find what is the solution, the potential solutions that can make this work. In research, there's no wrong or right answer. There's no wrong or right answer, but an inquisitive mind that wants to engineer change. You need to find a niche. I've talked about every technology. You need to find a niche and stay there. Don't do everything at every time. You're not going to help yourself. Improve on your computational skill sets. This is very important because computational technology is taking the industry. If it's learning Python, programming language, there are different kinds of programming language, Python, R, C++, every kind of programming language. Don't learn everything, just learn one and then stick to it. You mustn't know everything. Just go know the fundamentals that can help you position yourself for the future. And lastly, stay up to date by attending conferences, right? Energy conferences, like, of course, global energy conferences like the one SP is organizing. You may not have the opportunity to attend global energy conferences. Attend conferences that are provided by you, for you by SP, local conferences, student technical conferences. You would always know what's happening in the industry and know which technology that are driving change. And this is where I end my slide. Technology, especially computational technology, will not replace humans. They only replace humans without the knowledge and the use of technology. So thank you so much. Questions?
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for this very wonderful and very, very much insightful presentation you just made. I believe my notes is like extremely filled up with everything you've been saying. So now we are in the question and answer sections. So please, if you have your questions, you can kindly raise your hand. Okay, I can see. Praise God. Please kindly unmute yourself and ask your question.
Okay, sir. My question is, for some of us who are just coming into the industry, like specifically I'm in my fourth year, so I want to ask, how do I leverage on what you've just said? I said you gave us a framework to work with. You said we should find a niche and stay in it. But my question is, in this case, is for someone, let's say you're in my position now, what steps would you take, especially to get yourself acquainted and to position yourself?
These are the steps that I've talked about.
Okay.
These are steps that I've talked about. And just to throw more insights to what I mean, you're in a 400 level, it's a decision that you need to make and understand that the industry is changing, right? As the industry is changing, you need to be looking out for things that have huge potential of growing, right? I will give you an example, and I always say this. I mean, it is not with all form of humility, right? I mean, when I do it, I like to, I mean, of course, I'm speaking now and I'm just trying to think. And when I try to do a statistical analysis of people that have left petroleum engineering, I mean, my colleagues that have left, I can inductively say that, I mean, 80% of people have left petroleum engineering. They're not doing what they studied in school, right? And it is, I mean, it's somehow, why? There are two things here. First, if your decision is based on you didn't have the passion for petroleum engineering right from the beginning, then it is fine. You can do whatever that you feel that you're passionate about. You're not constrained towards petroleum engineering. But if your decision to leave petroleum engineering is because you don't understand the requisite skill sets in the industry, and because you've seen a lot about software engineering, a lot of people are moving to software engineering, cryptocurrency, and every other things, right? Based on, because they didn't really prepare themselves for the future. That's what I'm saying. They didn't really prepare themselves that the energy industry is changing so far that computational skill sets and other skill sets will be very much needed here today, right? So the advantage you have is for you to read into the future. Someone is doing blockchain today as a research. He already knew about blockchain in 2018, right? And then he leveraged that opportunity. So like I said, what you should be doing as a 400 level student is to, of course, you've attended the conference, which is a very good step. You know what the industry is looking out for now. Start doing your research, start finding a niche. What do I want to do? Do I want to do advanced analytics and AI stuff? Do I want to do more of robotics and automation? Do I want to go into IoT and blockchain devices? Do I want to even stay in the traditional petroleum engineering sphere? It's left for you. But these decisions are based on influence knowledge on what is happening, which can be done through research. So you find your niche and you stick there and start building on the fundamental skill set in that niche. And from what I've said, what is very common across boards are computational skill sets, low-level computational skill sets, like programming will not hurt you. I'm not saying that programming is all and all, but these are computational skill sets that you should leverage on at this point in time. As someone that is 400 level, there's so much excitement, so much exhilaration. You want to do a lot of things, but I'm telling you, people that would go far is people that would find a niche and specifically found themselves in that particular niche. So that is what, if I were you, I'll be doing now. Doing research, doing what I want to do, staying in a particular niche, improving your computational skill set, and as you attend energy conferences, you meet people that will share their experience with you. You meet people that will tell you, okay, this is the real life application of whatever you are studying. Because when you see the real life application of what you are studying, you appreciate it more.
Well, thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, thank you so much, sir, for that. Patrick Ezenachi, please, you can unmute yourself and ask your question. Thank you.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. I just want to thank the speaker, Mr. Emmanuel. This is so insightful, so educational. We really appreciate you, for making out time to share your thoughts and knowledge on this topic, especially in this energy transition period. This is a timely topic. Okay, so I would also ask if it's possible to share the presentation slide so that we can read up, and then maybe your LinkedIn profile, so that if we have further questions, we can still ask. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Yeah, thank you so much. The honor is mine as well. Just to add before I forget, like I said, every one of you that's participated in the comment section that have shared their thoughts and making this kind of an interactive session, I would like the executive, to just select the names of those guys, and I would forward whatever I have to I don't know who will be the right channel, but I think they will, the student affairs chair, student affairs chair, Mrs. Obiano Ju, she would be the one to, of course, relate every of the incentive I have for everyone who has participated. So yeah, I think she will be the right channel. So thank you. Again, I'm going to share the slides with you guys, with the executives, and my LinkedIn profile is very much open. You can connect with me. I'm more than happy and more than, of course, welcome to accept your invitation. So yeah, that's very much okay by me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Obasi, for that very insightful presentation. Like Patrick said, very much needed at this time. And we cannot fully exhaust the benefits of this topic. We're so grateful to have you, and it's really an honor that you made our time to talk to us today. We very much appreciate you, Emmanuel. And to everyone that joined us today, thank you, the students. I see the YPs were fully represented. Thank you, Emanuela. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Ofure. It's really an honor to have you all here. And thank you to the president for making this happen. Thank you for driving this. Thank you to the students that attended. We really appreciate you all. And we hope that you were able to learn a thing or two from this, because definitely I did. And my jotter is really full. So once again, thank you. President, please send the names of those that participated today so that Mr. Emmanuel can award them as he pleases. So you can go ahead, President, and wrap up. I think we've come to the end of this session, so go ahead and wrap up.
All right, thank you so much, Ma, for that. We cannot but thank Sir Emmanuel Obasi for spending our time to talk to us and making sure that he actually prepared these slides for students. The whole what students have to do to be able to get to where you are is really, really wonderful, and I appreciate it so much. And that's like one of the very, very major things I got out from this event. So we are done. Thank you so much everyone for attending. The Student Affairs Chair, Mrs. Obianuju Isicheli, my co-host, the SP President of Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Anthony Udem, and then the moderator, she's also here. So thank you so much also, everyone, for attending. I can see people from from other chapters also here. So thank you so much, everyone. And we wish you a good night and happy rest. Thank you. We can now leave the meeting, please.